It looks like we're live, so whenever you are ready.
Wonderful. Good morning, Cash.
Morning, everyone.
Well, I have 9 o'clock, I believe. Holly, do we have 9? Great. I'll call the meeting to order. Could I get confirmation of, I know we have quorum, right, Holly? Great. Confirmation of the agenda. Be it resolved that the committee confirm the agenda as presented. Carolyn, you move that? Joan,
Yes.
second. Any opposed? That is carried. I'll just let Heather know. Welcome, Monica. I'll let Heather know that if you want to say anything, move second, just shout it out. Okay, Heather? Hopefully we'll be there. We'll let Stuart join. Declaration of pecuniary interest. If any should arise throughout the meeting, you can declare it at any time. No delegations or presentations. We get the adoption of the minutes. Be it resolved that the committee approve the minutes from the January 8th, 2024 Southgate Community Fund Management Committee meeting as presented. Can I get a mover? Joan? Monica, would you like to second that? Thank you. Any opposed? Any errors or omissions? That is carried. Staff updates. We have none at this time. Moving on to news and unfinished business. We have Southgate Neighborhood Small Grants Community Foundation Grey Bruce. This is some news, friend. I believe, Stuart, you are going to give us some information about that. Welcome. Maybe. Good morning, Stuart. He's probably still trying to connect.
I did also just receive an email from Jen that she's attending. I'm just sending the link over now.
Oh, okay. Sorry, the meeting won't share my camera or mic. Well, Stuart, maybe did you want to try and log back in? Oh, there he goes. He's going to try and log back in. Well, we do have information. A link was shared. Thank you, Holly, for getting that on the agenda. We have, we'll circle back to the neighborhood small grants when we have Stuart or Jen back online. And then we have some upcoming dates, not-for-profit workshop, financial professionals lunch and learn on May 30th, and the Spring Ambassador Forum, June 13th. We also have a webinar for the Neighborhood Small Grants Initiative on March 13th at noon. It is virtual for those individuals that want to learn more about how they might be able to apply and how their event might benefit from this small grant. So welcome, Jen and Stuart. Hopefully we've got Mike at least. I mean, microphone, not Mike's not joining. Let's see if we've got audio. So that webinar is for the community to ask questions and seek some guidance. Still no access. Okay.
Sorry.
There you go. Jen, Stuart, it's okay. Not sure if you can hear us, but Jen is on the line. So Stuart's having some technical difficulties, Jen. I was wondering if, so those we've done 7.2, we'll circle back to the small neighborhood, small grants. I was just mentioning that the March 13th session is for the community members to get their questions asked of you, as opposed to community fund members on this committee, right?
Correct. Yes.
Period.
It's around the eligibility and the requirements of the grant. So the people that would be applying to the grant.
Right, right. Okay, so would you like to speak a little bit more about that? Have you had any more response?
I think we have 5 names that have officially registered. I do believe I shared the link with that email list when I first sent it out, so they all have it. I did ask them to register too, but it's there. And I will send it out to that email list of 20 plus names that we put together this summer for the roadshow. So I'll send that out again tomorrow with the link in it, and people are welcome to share that link with other members of their organization.
So just to elaborate on that, I noticed that there's a couple of people that have changed on that list, but then could you elaborate? The neighborhood small grants is not for profits or registered charities.
Right. So the neighborhood small grants is a truly grassroots granting opportunity with it's just $500. So it's not for a registered organization that already has a budget and core operations and a plan. It's literally for neighbors to come together to do something small and great. So whether it's it could be a community book club, it could be the Easter egg hunt, it could be an exercise program or a yoga program, but it's like really grassroots. So different than our community grants. This grant is going to grant to individuals. You don't have to be you can't be an organization actually for it to grant to. Our spring community grants are open. So any organizations from Southgate that are interested in talking to me about that, that's the stream for them. And that's up to $3,000 that you can ask for in that grant.
Wonderful. Thanks for clarifying the difference and who the target audience is. I will work with Holly to get that Google Doc, the name changed. I noticed that it had changed, so that if you go and send out another list, those individuals would be captured. But I'll work with Holly and with you, Jen.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any questions from the committee about the neighborhood small grants? Monica.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Jen. So just had a quick question. First, it's a wonderful grant opportunity. And I understand that once this is completed, could the same or group of people apply again the year after? And also, would there be anything in place to help with sustainability of projects that are approved through the neighborhood grant to continue afterwards?
I don't see a reason why a team of people couldn't apply again. There's of course limited funds, so I would assume that our adjudication committee, which I'll maybe talk to you about a little bit in a second, but I would assume that the adjudication committee would take that into consideration based on how many applications they see. So if we really had to narrow 20 down to 10 this year, then those might not be the same 10 next year, but that's in the hands of the adjudication committee. It totally depends on the project and the group.
And just with regards to sustainability, so let's say someone, a team creates an amazing thing and there are some that want it to continue through the same year. Was there any resources that would become available for sustaining those projects that the organization be able to recommend?
I think, Jen, that would be the workshop that you're going to encourage them to attend after the fact, that you mentioned at our last meeting, a workshop on how to become a more sustainable organization, how to create a not-for-profit or a committee at least. Jen?
Yeah, so there is a plan within neighborhood grants to bring grantees together for networking opportunities, with the end goal being that potentially some of these groups would want to register as nonprofits, which would take them into a different stream with a much wider array of opportunities for financial support.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Monica. And Monica, I'm not sure if you have an adjustment on your microphone for your volume. It's I've turned mine up, but I don't want everyone to be inundated with my volume. So I'm not sure if it's at your end or my end. Just thank you.
Sure, I'll try.
No, that's okay. It could be at my end. Did you want to add any more, Jen? Did you want to speak more about the adjudication committee? I know that we've got 2 streams running right now for April 15th deadline.
So neighborhood small grants, part of the program is that it's adjudicated locally. So that the people that are reading these grants and making decisions about the grant money that we're using from the Southgate Township of Southgate Community Fund are very local, very grassroots. So I'm looking to this committee to help me build that review team and kind of what that membership might look like. Off the top of my head, I would say that I'm looking for probably the type of person that would be applying for these grants. I'm looking for somebody, I'm looking for my notes. I'm looking for somebody who has maybe read grants before or has some experience with reading or writing grants so that they can have that opinion as they're looking at the review. Somebody from a service group, because I find that the service groups tend to have a bit of a finger on the pulse of the community and know a lot of those groups already and be able to speak to them during an adjudication meeting. We're looking for, of course, diversity in age, gender, and culture, and anything else that any other diversity that is required for Southgate. If you want to make sure that there's somebody from the agriculture field on it, that might be important. One person from the community fund management committee from this committee so that they can report back on the process, and probably somebody from my team with experience reviewing, and that can sort of help for the first round anyways, help guide that process. So I'm looking for 5 or 6 people for an adjudication committee. And I would be doing the deadline right now is April 15th. So I would want to meet with them, probably Zoom, to give them kind of some education on how the process will work and what we're looking for from adjudication. And then they would, assuming the timelines stay the same, we could extend this if there was a reason. We could extend the deadline if there was a reason why Southgate felt like we hadn't reached the audience yet. But assuming it's April 15th, I try to give the reviewers 3 weeks with the applications in the portal for them to read and consider. And then we meet for probably a half-day meeting to come to consensus after they've done their evaluation online. So I can set up the kind of volunteer position that this would be for Southgate Neighborhood Small Grants, and share that with Holly to share with you as you consider who might be good for that role, those roles.
So we're in a little bit of I might have to go to Holly on this. We don't meet again until May. And so this has been kind of, I thought it was going to be personally, or we didn't realize that there would be a separate adjudication committee to appoint people to a committee, advertise for members, and all in 6 weeks. It may have to go to council.
Let me rephrase. How about if you so we'll be vetting and choosing that adjudication meeting here. I guess I'm looking to the committee to make recommendations and guide them to reach out to me.
Okay. I'm wondering, Holly, you might have a suggestion. I'm wondering if that list of organized, I see now they're going to be possibly applying for the other grant. I'm hoping that we're letting well, this is another subject that we want to make sure that the people who are organized know that there's still grants available. It's not just the neighborhood small grants. Holly.
Thank you through the chair. Jen, I just wanted to confirm this is a committee that's going to be administered by Community Foundation Grey Bruce?
Yes.
Okay, so from our end, you're looking for recommendations on potential members, and you would like somebody from our committee appointed to your adjudication committee, is that correct?
Yes, I guess I'm not sure I would use the word appointed because we would still vet them through our process, perhaps. I would maybe back off on the word appointed.
Okay, just from a procedural standpoint, if the committee is going to make a decision on who would sit on that committee, we would need a formal resolution from our committee.
Okay. And your criteria, Jen, that you are looking for perhaps is someone who's familiar with reading or writing grants
As one of the options, yes.
as one of the options.
Hoping to spark your brain about thinking about people that might be good on this committee.
Thoughts from the committee? Heather, Carolyn, Joan, Monica. Joan's got her hand. I can't see your hand. Oh, there it is. Thanks, Joan. You're off. The hand was off the screen. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning again. Jen, so you're talking about the neighborhood small grant. That's the committee that you're looking for this.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
And do we self-appoint or somebody appoint us? I write grants all the time and I review grants. Of course, I would fall in the diversity, but I do have my own non-for-profit, but it's not for the non-for-profit, it's for the Southgate small grant. So if you're looking for someone, then I should be able to sit on it as long as it's not like a lot of meetings and stuff because I have other things doing, but I would love to give my input on that because sometimes these organizations don't get funded because of the way the grant is written, and maybe we can also help them, educate them as to make sure that your points or what we're really looking for or how to really word it. So if it's not worded properly, I mean, we can still find a way to go through that because we have an idea what they're looking for. Thank you.
Thanks, Joan. So you're volunteering to be our appointee. We'll open it up, but just to clarify, the grant application form is already written. Of course, Community Foundation Grey Bruce is always looking for feedback on that from those who may be trying to navigate it, right, Jen?
Yeah, absolutely. And
And
people are always going to never people often don't answer the way I was expecting them to from when I created the question, but that doesn't mean that they've gotten scored a 0 for that question.
And the members of the adjudication committee would not be involved in the workshops or helping them understand the grant. This is once the applications are received, the committee would be then brought together to review the grants that have applied.
Right.
And then certainly providing feedback for the next intake would be of great use, I'm sure. Carolyn, you had your hand up?
I was just going to say I wasn't sure who was eligible to sit on the committee just from the standpoint of I am a part of one group for sure and maybe 2 who will be applying. So I would not consider myself for that. And so of our group here, I wasn't sure who would be in the same position. Like if we were trying to create a short list about who could sit on the committee, I would not be able to sit in the committee. So that's all I was putting out. It might be helpful to say who could actually do it and then go from there.
Thanks, Carolyn. Monica.
Yes, just to that point for Carolyn, what she just mentioned, I think, yes, that's going to be something that we're going to have to really review and understand, because I think that there are a lot of people who, like also I'm a founder of our organization as well. And then if there are any locals who are on different boards, and then they're going to be maybe part of another committee applying under neighborhood grant separate, we don't want it to get messy or questioning. So I think we have to get a little bit more information, like for the adjudication, how these decisions would be made, and is it going to be like we have to have like 3 against 2? So I I think that was a good point, Carolyn.
Stuart. Thank you, Monica.
I just wanted to reassure the group that the Community Foundation has conflict of interest policies and privacy and confidentiality policies that each of our volunteers would sign as part of that panel. So we do anticipate, people would have to self-declare if they have any interest in any of the applications coming forward. And thank you, Carolyn. Of course, if you do have a direct conflict, we'd expect that you wouldn't volunteer for the group. But we do have checks and balances in place to make sure that it is fair and transparent and accountable. So I should assure the committee of that.
Thank you, Stuart. And the good thing about this is we're not involved in the adjudication of the not-for-profit or registered charity stream. This is strictly for the neighborhood small grants, which is anywhere from 2 or more individuals that are organizing an event within Southgate. As Jen had suggested, a couple of ideas. It could be, the downtown trick or treat or and those. And so what you're looking for from us is one person from this committee and some names of potential organizations that might put forward a name that isn't in conflict with any other group.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no conflict is a goal.
Right.
But it's
So
probably not a reality.
If I may suggest, if there's no other volunteers, Joan has put up her hand to assist with this year. It's hopefully going to be every year. And so we're moving. So I'm just going to put it on the table and we'll see where it goes. If there's any objection, we get a mover and seconder to appoint Joan as our representative on this committee if there's no other nominations. Is it a mover to put it on the table? Carolyn, a seconder? I'll second it. Is there any discussion?
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So this is a team of 5 people for the adjudicating. So who are the other 4? Am I understanding this correctly?
So my understanding, Jen, and you can clarify, is that you're looking for community members, 3 or 4 community members, plus 1 from this committee that would have experience in reading or writing grants, maybe a service group, represent diversity, gender, culture, age, so a variety of people. All we're doing is we're going to send you some names. Each of us can submit names to you to reach out to individuals to see if they would like to apply, or we could ask them to contact you to apply.
Correct.
And you would be vetting the individuals based on their qualifications, on whether or not there's a conflict of interest. We are not part of the selection committee. We're just going to provide some names.
Correct. And those people would act as volunteers of Community Foundation and under our volunteer policies and confidentiality policies, as Stuart mentioned.
Thank you. Joan, I see your hand up, but I want to go back to Monica and see if that answered her question.
Yeah, so just when you said we, do you mean the person appointed or we as in all of us? When you were just saying that we would help to provide the guidance and we would help to, are you talking about the appointed person?
You, Carolyn, Heather, Joan, myself, Holly, we can all put names forward or actually contact individuals that we think might be interested and appropriate. They would contact Jen or apply through Jen.
So it'd be 1 appointed community fund committee member and then 4 people chosen by the names that are either put forward or applied for. That would make up the 5. Okay.
I think so. That's right, Jen?
Yep.
Okay.
And will you be advertising this on your Facebook page and website, looking for adjudicators?
I think no, because I'm looking for residents of Southgate, right? So
Okay.
like it is pretty specific request. I'm not sure that I have them following those social media channels. So
Okay. All right. It was all new information for us, Jen. So thank you
Yep.
very much. New for all of us. So any other nominations for the committee appointee? Holly, do we have a seconder?
Yeah,
I seconded.
you
That's
seconded.
right.
I just was wondering, if I could read it just to make sure that,
Sure.
we are all on the same page.
Thank
Be it
you.
resolved that the committee appoint, and then Counselor John for the Community Foundation Gravers Neighborhood Small Grants Adjudication Committee.
Does that get it? That suits the our secretary clerk. And if there are no other nominations, I'm going to call for all in favor. If Heather, if you could just unmute and then a show of hands. All in favor? Joan, are you in favor? Great. Heather, I didn't hear, but we do have a majority, so that is carried. Thank you for volunteering, Joan. And I think yes, Joan.
Sorry, I did have my hand up. I just wanted to touch base a little bit about conflict, because as Jen and Stuart said, it's the Southgate Neighborhood Small Grants. These are just individual in the community, so I don't see where there would be a conflict or where anything would come in. I must also say that I am a standing member of the Society of Ontario Adjudicators and Regulators, so I have a lot of experience in that, and I don't rarely ever do small community grants for the organization that Carolyn and I are associated with, which is JCI. We mainly do federal funding, so there would be no conflict at all, or how we're operating or looking for funding through the community or through Grey Bruce, Owen Sound. So I can declare that, and I'm sure there are going to be formalities and stuff when we start this. Thank you.
Great. And sorry, Joan, I can't see your hand sometimes because you're off the side. So I'm sorry if I didn't see your hands first. Monica.
Yes, so I just wanted to, because I know that we are all very involved, and that's even why we are on this committee, because we just want to do really great things in the community. And so that's pretty much where I'm coming from, is that sometimes like we develop relationships that are deep rooted, that do become personal. We're human. So I just wanted to make sure that, of course, regulations and all of that is something that we always all keep in mind. But with that being said, it's just that we do develop deep rooted relationships, and as always, optics is something that comes up quite a bit. So we want to just make sure that, if just straight out, like if there's someone that is applying for it and is shown and seen that there's a deep rooted relationship there, just to be mindful of that it, and again, this is coming from the spirit of serving and the spirit of community building and the spirit of people become very close. I too have developed deep rooted relationships, so that's why I hesitated for myself to kind of just go for that right now in that way. And I understand this is a year appointment. So is this the first time that this neighborhood grant has been brought forward? Is this brand new?
Yes.
It is? Okay. So it's just kind of new.
Absolutely. It's absolutely brand new, Monica. This
Yep.
is all new to us.
Yeah.
This adjudication committee is all new to us. And I have Jen had her hand up, but the selection of the committee, of the adjudication committee, is totally the Community Foundation Grey Bruce. They're gonna get down to the nitty-gritty, and if there's any applications that we won't be involved. It'll come to us, but I'm sure that Joan will declare any relationship conflict if it does arise. I know that, did you want to follow up, Monica? And Jen had her hand up.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Yeah, it's just for the just keeping for all of us, like just to make sure that, you know, there's that we're all watchful and things of that nature. So yeah,
I
and
think we're all very cautious about all of that because of perceptions.
perfect.
Jen?
Thank you.
I just wanted to point out, I probably should have said it earlier, that we never post the list of our adjudicators. Part of our process is that is confidential information, which is why I was a little bit hesitant about the appointment as an official appointment, but it makes sense in that case. But for the most part, yeah, that's a confidential list of people participating.
Thank you. Carolyn?
So, in sending the list of names just along that idea is, I think that like some of the names that I've been thinking about, because so many of the people I'd be involved with will actually think about applying for this, so that wouldn't be appropriate. But I'm thinking of leaders in education, leaders in business, leaders of not of official charities or nonprofits wouldn't be involved. So I think, Monica, like I'm trying to think of a list of names of people who are leaders, not necessarily involved in volunteer positions, but would have, just to keep that, like, so I think in that we will be able to find people who will not represent a conflict of interest, rather than people who are involved in all of those groups that would be applying.
I think we can all appreciate Monica's sentiment, though. I mean,
Mhm.
we all have, because we are so embedded in our communities, we are all going to have relationships. It
Mhm.
can't be avoided. And that's the nice thing about it, is that the Community Foundation distances us. We can get people to apply or suggest that people apply, but we won't know who they are. And that they'll be vetted by Community Foundation. I like the fact that we're a little bit removed from that process of even the selection of the committee, never mind the actual review of the grants. So what I might suggest is that we each, Holly, if when I'm just thinking, Holly, would it be appropriate for you to send out a reminder, or if Jen sent you an email summarizing what Jen is looking for, what the Community Foundation Grey Bruce is looking for this adjudication committee, and you could send it to the committee members. We could then send it directly to Jen, not reply all, not share our names, but to or at least have something that we can then speak to individuals. Would you be interested? And then have them contact Jen. How do you think that should, between Jen and Holly, maybe, how should we be approaching this in order to be respectful of that perception of conflict? Holly?
Thanks through the chair. I think that would be fine, Jen, if you wanted to send me an email. I can get it out to all members, and then if members could respond directly to Jen to kind of keep Southgate's involvement out of it, as it's not an administered committee from the township, just to communicate directly with Jen going forward once the initial email has been sent out.
Thank you. And having heard you say that out loud, Holly, I'm wondering if we may extend the information to people we think might be appropriate, but have them contact Jen as opposed to us recommending someone. It would remove us once more from that we're putting this person's name forward. It would be up to them to apply. Does that make everyone, Holly?
Yeah, I do think that maybe is a little better. Kind of keeps the committee's involvement out of it. Definitely, Jen, if you want to send an email, I don't think that there is any harm in committee members sending it out to people that could be interested, and then having them communicate directly with Community Foundation Grey Bruce. Sorry.
Go ahead, Jen.
Was everybody on the email that I sent originally talking about neighborhood small grants and the workshop? I think the committee is on that email list potentially, and I will include the volunteer. I'll include the volunteer position description for that group of people, for maybe them to think about other people in the community that might be appropriate too. So share with that group. And if anybody isn't on the list, I can add you, or maybe Holly can add you to that master Google spreadsheet so that I can make sure that you get that email.
I think what we'll do is we'll make sure that list is up to date. Okay.
Great.
I just timed out on my other computer, so.
So that would be tomorrow morning. I'd be looking to send that email out with the Zoom link for Wednesday.
With the Zoom link for Wednesday. Didn't you
For the
already
workshop.
send out the invitation?
I'm going to send out a
So
reminder.
now I'm getting confused. Wednesday is for the people who are applying.
Correct. And I'm going to send a
Not people who
reminder.
are going to be, so not people who are going to be on the adjudication committee.
Correct. But I think a lot of people in this meeting are also on that list.
But we're not participating in the March 13th meeting.
If you're a community member of an organization that might be applying for neighborhood small grants, as the case might be, then you're welcome to join.
Okay.
In that role.
All right. But not as a committee member.
Correct.
Thank you. We've got a few balls in the air right now, and I just want to make sure that you're saying you're sending out the link to all of those people on the list, but a lot of those people on the list are not-for-profits or organized groups.
Correct. So I'm looking for community members who know community members that might be interested in sitting on an adjudication team. So that seems like the best list I have of people in Southgate that might be involved.
Maybe through Holly, we can go through the list. And certainly it's not part of the link for Wednesday. I just want to be clear that they're not being invited to the meeting on Wednesday. Carolyn.
I think that what Jen was saying was that she's trying to get the information out as many ways as possible. So she is going to send out, well, first she's going to send out an email tomorrow that will remind us about the Wednesday meeting, which I will attend as because I'm a part of a grassroots organization, but not as a committee meeting. But then I think what she said secondly was, oh, if I'm sending information for volunteers, I'm going to send it to you guys to send out, but I'll also send it to these people because I'm just trying to get the information out. I'm not inviting them to be a part of the committee. I'm just sending the information out so that we can get it out there. Is that correct, Jen?
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. I guess I'm on Monica's page as I'm trying to avoid any perception of conflict on council, committee, people who might be applying, who, hey, get on the adjudication committee. So thank you for that. We can touch base right after the meeting, and we'll go to that Google Doc. Just have a look, make sure that we're all on that list. Okay, so are we done with this one then? And my apologies, because my agenda just Holly, what is next on my computer timed out and it's all stopped here. What is next on the agenda? I think we're done with this section.
Yeah, so we talked about the upcoming events for Community Foundation Grey Bruce prior to talking about neighborhood small grants. So it's just the item of correspondence, which is the February 2024 newsletter. The resolution is, be it resolved that the committee receive the items of correspondence dated March 11th, 2024 as information.
Okay, just So Jen's satisfied. We've got just the newsletter that was shared. Thank you very much. Did you, if I could just circle back though, Polly, since Stuart and Jen weren't on the call, about the upcoming events. Monica, you have your hand up.
Actually, that was my next question, is which one of those would be possible, like attending as committee members? And I think you're about to speak on that, so.
Thanks, Monica. Yes, Stuart, go ahead. And certainly the Spring Ambassador Forum on June 13th is always something that you're looking for attendance from, but go ahead, Stuart.
Sure. Thank you, Barbara. The first event, not-for-profit workshop, it was last week and a great success. I'm not sure if we had representation from Southgate there, but we had about 80 representatives from charities and not-for-profits from across the region. We did a lot of workshopping and conversation about best practices, good governance. We had an introduction to AI tools for not-for-profit work. And we also took a bit of a deep dive into volunteer management and sort of the post-pandemic crisis in volunteer recruitment. So some great conversations. And the Financial Professionals Lunch and Learn, the next event on our list, is May 30th. And that's something we do every year, where we invite all the financial professionals and lawyers and people that are engaged with members of the community, helping them make planned gifts, helping them with their will and estates, helping to help us further the interests of community philanthropy. We gather those folks together. And this year we're focusing on the Willpower Initiative. And I've talked to this committee a little bit about our subscription to that effort. And that's about getting more Canadians to put a gift to charity in their will. And at that event on May 30th, we'll be having some guests from the Canadian Association of Gift Planners to go a little bit deeper into some of the tools and resources that are available to us through the Willpower campaign, and to make financial professionals aware of things that they can use in forging conversations with their clients, getting them to talk about perhaps thinking of a community fund in Southgate as a beneficiary, and when they're making their estate planning. So the committee members would be most welcome to attend there, because I think that there'll be lots of things that we talk about that'll be great to have in your back pocket when you're out in the community and talking about what we do, both at Community Foundation Grey Bruce and through Southgate Community Fund. And then, as Barbara mentioned, the Spring Ambassador Forum is always a great thing to attend. And at each Ambassador Forum, we try and make sure there's time for a conversation for community funds to share what they've been working on, and to meet each other, and to talk about best practice and things that are happening. And there's always shared learning, and we all come away better connected. And that's a great thing too. So that's going to happen on June the 13th, and location to be determined. The Financial Professionals Lunch and Learn will be held at Grey Roots Museum near Owen Sound, and there'll be a save the date. Will go out through our channels in the coming weeks, so you will hear about that in your email as well. But if there's any questions about any of those events, I'm happy to answer. Yes, Monica.
Thank you. For the Grey Bruce Museum one, do you have the time for that yet?
Yes, it'll be from 9 till noon, and we do offer lunch that day too. And also part of that day, Monica, you're prompting me to think about the format. We are going to be having a bit of an information fair in the lobby of the museum. So all of the participating foundations or charities that are participating in Willpower will have booths set up. And so everyone that attends will get to meet a lot of the people that are supporting Willpower across Grey Bruce as well. So it should be a great day.
And just a follow up thank you for that, Stuart, just for the May 30th. That location's to be determined, but do you have a time for that yet?
Sorry, May 30th is at Grey Roots, and that is noon, 9 till noon. The Spring Ambassador Forum, we will be determining a location, and it's likely at midday as well, but there'll be a time specified as well when we send out the save the date.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. So May 30th is the Grey Roots.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I'll make sure you guys get
okay.
Save the date invitations to both those upcoming events.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you for that.
So Through you though, so through, Stuart, the financial professionals lunch, is that more for financial professionals to learn more about willpower and
Yes.
giving, so that then they can then tell their clients about the importance or the benefit of willpower
That's
type
the
thing? Okay, thank you. And the fair in the lobby of Grey Roots is for potential charities to promote themselves?
just the agencies that have signed on to Willpower. So we have a collaborative right now of I think it's 6 or 8 local charities that are working alongside us on amplifying the Willpower message across the region. So all of those partners are going to have a little booth in the lobby that day to share their programs and initiatives with not just the financial planners, but anybody else who comes. We do offer a professional education credit to the financial planners who come. They all have to upgrade their skills every year. So there's a CE certificate. So they get credit for the couple of hours they spend with us. So that's another incentive for them. And I'm mentioning it to you because our ambassadors and our community fund members would be most welcome to attend as well if you'd like to partake.
Thank you. And I believe there's a fee to register for that.
There is
generally.
that covers the lunch, and I
Right.
think it's probably about, well, I won't even say how much it is. I think it's usually in the $40 range, I think, for the
Right. I
morning.
was going to say $30 to $50 range per
Yeah.
person. So,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Be it resolved that the committee received the item of correspondence dated March 11th, which was the newsletter. Could I get a mover and seconder? Carolyn?
Sure,
Joan?
I can.
Oh, okay. We'll get you on the next the adjournment, Heather.
Sure.
Any opposed? That is carried. All right. Moving along, next meeting, members' privilege. Sorry, before next meeting is members' privilege. Anyone want to share any information, any additional information about what's going on in the community? Okay, the next meeting is May 13th, 9 a.m. Stuart or Jen, is that when this committee will learn of the successful applicants for each of the streams? Or will that be later, potentially?
That would be later.
Okay. All right. So Heather is going to move, unless there's any other questions or comments, Heather is going to move that we adjourn the meeting at 9:47 a.m. Could I get a seconder? Monica? Any opposed? Great, that's carried. Thank you all. And Holly
great
and
day.
Jen, I'm wondering if you want to just stay on.
I just have a conflict actually, so I do have to leave. Unfortunately,
Okay.
so I'll stop the stream and the meeting.